Absolute, I truly strongly believe you got to put yourself first, what you want to do. Do not serve to the likeness of others and what other people want, to do. If you don't agree, then don't be afraid to say, I'm not into this. I'm going to just do me and you do you, Don't be afraid to separate yourself, because when you do that, you really find what you're passionate about, what you actually like, what relaxes you, what makes you happy. And you gotta, I always just say, like, if you want to be an independent person and you want to rely on yourself and be happy, on your own, it's so important to be happy when you're alone. Absolutely. You just gotta, you can't be a people pleaser. Absolutely not.
Yeah. You gotta learn how to say no. You gotta take care of yourself first.
Feeling like I'm hardened cause I'm plugged in with the breath. That like if you touch me wrong, you might get hit.
Back to the Millennial Mentality Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Agnelli, here with my co-host, Peter Price.
What's happening?
And our guest today, Natalie Jarmay.
Hello.
Yeah. We have JoJo in the crowd as a live audience. Hey. JoJo. As always, guys, thank you for watching, listening, viewing, and subscribing. Your support means the world to us. I do want to make one note. I will continue to say it until December 4th, but December 4th, we're having an event at 4 Nightclub right next to 123 Ventura.
Yep.
It's a charitable event. All proceeds will go to the local charity called the Hangry Project, which helps feed kids in local parks and areas. They basically fill up fridges for kids to have a safe meal in, and it's just an amazing project. So December 4th from 7 to 10 p.m. Please be there, guys, and we appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Very cool.
Natalie, I'm so excited to hear your story. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So I kind of want to start, we talked a little bit before we started shooting, but I want to start to kind of hear where you were raised, how you were raised, and kind of what your foundation was to life.
I was raised here in Jupiter, Florida. Born and raised, have not found a reason to leave.
Not many of us.
Oh my gosh, I love it here. Yeah. I've grown up pretty much, on the beach, on the water. My family has their own boat. Mm-hmm. I love to go scuba diving. Mm-hmm. I just love everything about like this tropical town,
Oh, yeah.
But
what's
it's
not
like,
to love?
Yeah, exactly. And I like how there's enough to do if you want to do something here, or you could just sit back and relax.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very consistent. Like the whole vibe down here, you know what you're going to get 90% of the time. Mm-hmm. And it's just, there's a lot of things to do to always keep you busy. Mm-hmm. Over the last year, the influx of people that have moved to Florida kind of proves that, that I think it's one of the best fucking places in the world where we live. Yeah. And we kind of take it, I don't take it for granted too much, but we take it for granted sometimes. Like it's a 5-minute drive to the beach. You can jump on the boat. There's so many things to do locally.
You ever plan on living anywhere else?
I want a second house somewhere. I want like a ranch in Montana.
Don't we all?
Montana. Like in the middle of fucking nowhere.
That'd be cool to have both worlds.
Yeah.
In a perfect situation.
Yeah, just shut off life and go there and fuck with my cows a little bit. You know what I'm saying? What? I don't mean like that. It was a little sus.
It's okay. No, I used to horseback ride, so I would love to do that. Have like a little ranch somewhere.
What made you pick Montana? I feel like that's kind of a random.
I feel like it's chill. Like the name's chill. Like everything about it.
No, Montana's like, I remember like when I was younger seeing pictures of it on Google. And
really?
After I think it was like the Hannah Montana movie or something. Yeah. I don't know why. I just looked up Montana on Google and I'm like, wow, this place is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So Natalie, how was your family life growing up? Do you have siblings? What was that like?
I have a younger sister. Her name's Christina. I call her Tina.
Yep.
She looks just like me, but she's smaller, so she's Tiny Tina.
Yep.
We're a year apart, and we're super duper close, pretty much best friends. My parents, they're together. We still live with them right now. So we're one big happy family. My mom, she works for Waterfront Properties here in Jupiter, and then my dad works for this place called Scientific Instruments in West Palm Beach. We pretty much have always lived here in Jupiter. Before I think I was born, they were living in Lake Worth, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's right. And pretty much just always close to the water. Mm-hmm. My dad has had his boat forever. Mm-hmm. I mean, him and his like whole boy gang used to go fishing every weekend when they were younger, and then that's how they kind of tore it up and met my mom through mutual friends. And here we are, just one big happy family in like the best city ever, or town.
Now, do you itch? You told me before this. I hope you don't mind talking about it. But your age is you're 24 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As a 24-year-old person, do you itch to get out of the house? Or do you have a plan with that? What is your action as far as like that?
As of right now, we all have like really comfortable relationships and we're all very busy with our lives. Everyone in my household works.
Yeah.
So everyone's kind of on a different schedule. So it's almost like I do live by myself because when I'm home, they're not, and vice versa.
And they respect your space, and
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody really questions anything. Like if we want to do something, we have the freedom to do it. I've never really been restricted, which is, I feel like one of the reasons why I feel like I've kind of turned out to be like a good person. You know, I've had the freedom to make my own choices, but you know, still have morale to it. But right now I'm not really in a rush to move out. I'm still, you know, going to college. I'm in online FAU. And I'm just kind of taking it day by day. I mean, I work multiple jobs on top of like my hobbies. So I've recently felt a little overwhelmed. And thinking about the next step when it comes to moving out of the house has been a little too much right now. So I'm hoping maybe after the holidays I could slow down and, you know, process.
Take the next step.
Yeah. For
now, you say you have a lot of endeavors going on right now. Talk to us about a few of those.
Okay. So right now, I recently, last month in October, I just started my own swimwear line.
Hey!
It's called Golden Swimwear.
Awesome.
It's something I've always wanted to do. I remember when I was younger, like really young, I would go on family vacation. I'd always bring my sketchbook everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And I remember always like, you know, making little fashion designs, whether it's like dresses or swimwear or little outfits and like full on like sketching by hand, like the person, the outfit, everything, the details, and making notes. And I just always loved being creative in that way. And I like fashion. I like how it's, you know, you could express yourself, you know, by what you wear, whether it's, you know, in the house or at the beach. But because I've grown up in like a beach town, I've always loved swimwear, you know, and I really, truly do love just going to the beach and tanning and just vegging out and relaxing. So I figured I'm going to make swimwear that is perfect for, you know, the way that I want to use it. You know, I want like the minimal tan lines. I want something that's comfortable. I also want something that's sexy, that complements my body, but I also want it to fit everyone else. So I've made sure that the straps on the bottoms are adjustable. So, you know, some girls are feeling a little bloated, they can make it a little looser. If you're feeling like you lost some weight, tighten it up and it'll definitely fit. I also have made sure that the tops fit just a bit smaller, just so you could get that ideal tan line, because a lot of girls, including myself, I hate when like a top is too big and you get like a crazy sunburn or tan line, whatever, and then you go out the night of or the day after and you can't wear what you want to wear because it's showing through, you know what I mean? So that was one of the inspirations of it, but it's something that I've always wanted to do and talked about even since I worked in a surf shop years ago. And I finally just bit the bullet. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm not telling anybody. And I really didn't. I did all my research on Google and YouTube, and I figured out how to register the business, how to do taxes, all that crazy stuff. And then until it was all said and done and I had it kind of officiated, I told my mom, my sister, and they're like, wait, what? You started your own business? And I'm like, yeah, I did it.
I love that.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm very excited about it.
I think to leapfrog off that, something we talked about in the past is, you know, your dreams or your goals or whatever this crazy, you know, gift is that you're pursuing. Hold that sacred to you. Like, don't go out and tell everyone that, because everyone's going to have their minute opinions and their macro view on your dream, on your goal. And a lot of times in our fucked up world today, it's going to be negative and reasons why you shouldn't or can't or why you won't succeed. I think that is amazing that you did that. And I think it's a really good cue for people that if you have these dreams, whatever niche it is in, to, like you did, make massive action on that, do stuff, and then present it, right? Because an idea is just an idea until anything comes to fruition, you know? I think that's amazing. So with that hustle of looking up things on Google, on YouTube, and trying to produce this, what road bumps and problems did you have to face with that?
I think the very first thing that I could think of was my first issue was knowing, let's say like searching manufacturers and knowing who to trust and what key points to look out for when it comes to working with somebody who could manufacture your product rather than making it yourself. There was a lot to it that I didn't know about, like with the MOQs and knowing whether your manufacturer has proper paperwork and whether their communication is on point and the way that they communicate. And also the, everything that goes into shipping and the fees. And it was crazy. Like, the more I kind of did my research, the more my eyes were opened, and I'm like, wow, starting a business really does put in a lot of work, a lot of learning, and a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely worth it. I think it's very cool because I'm the kind of person that I believe if I want something done right, I'm a little bit of control freak this way. If I want it done right, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't really tell anybody for a while. I was like, I'm just going to figure this out on my own because that's the way that I like to learn. And so once I kind of figured it out, and I'm still figuring it out right now, I'm still kind of processing how to go with marketing now. But that's the fun part.
Yeah.
I just found it to be really rewarding to just, take my time with it.
Yeah.
And because, I actually was working on it since last March.
I was going to ask
It's been a long time
Okay.
project.
Yeah.
Since last March. So it's been a long time coming, but I'm happy I'm finally launched, and I'm just, doing it. Because I feel like just like starting was the hardest part.
Yeah.
But once you get the ball rolling, then it just gets, moderately easier as you go.
And you find those action steps to take to really get you to your end goal.
Yeah.
So what is really the next step? How many designs do you have? Is it seasonal? I have no clue about women's swimwear. So how does that work?
So right now I'm starting small. I have limited quantities. I have 3 different styles, and each style comes in 2 different colors.
Okay.
The swimwear also, it's reversible,
Yep.
so you could wear both sides. It's adjustable, like I mentioned before, and it is seamless. I found that to be really important because I don't like a lot of swimwear with those tough seams around the edges that cut into your skin, especially like if you're sitting or if you gain just a little bit of weight or none of that. I like something that's more stretchy and form-fitting, but comfortable at the same time. So right now I'm keeping it at that, same 3 styles and, 2 colors for each until I make a decision whether I want to release more seasonal items or not. But it's also a matter of storage space. Right now, I do have inventory at my home, and I only have so much space.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work around that best that I can.
Yeah.
But I'm taking it day by day and making decisions as I go.
It's part of the process.
Yeah. Is it strictly just swimsuits right now? Just those
Yeah.
those 3? Do you plan on branching out from that at all either?
Yeah, I would love to make matching cover-ups and accessories like hair scrunchies or, things like that.
Yeah, totally.
What's your inspiration as far as what's another swimsuit line that you see wanting to be not but following parallel?
Or are you a thing of your own?
I'm thinking, well, I stem a lot. In the beginning, let me say this. I really loved this one company called Berry Beachy.
Okay.
And I liked their styles and I like how they fit. So I tried to kind of gear my inspiration towards their designs, but, do something myself with a bit of a twist. So their styles are not reversible, but I just liked a little bit of the shape, and I also liked the feeling of the fabric. So I tried to make my fabrics very similar to that.
Yeah.
And I tried to make the fit similar, but also adjusted so it's more, towards my liking.
Yeah.
Like their bottoms are wonderful. They're cheeky. They're sexy. They're form-fitting. But their tops, for me, because I'm more of a small-chested girl, they were just a little too big, even though they were small or extra small, So I wanted to make something that fit me, but also would be flattering for larger-chested ladies as well.
True.
Let me ask you something. The trend that you see right now of girls wearing their bathing suit tops the way that they do, are they just wearing them upside down, or is that the way that they're
the
made?
same fucking thing.
Okay, so I do this. So I actually think it's so...
It's like a Tetris puzzle. I
upside-
don't know
it's
what's
upside
going
down.
on.
It's just upside down, right?
Yeah.
They didn't make it like that.
No,
Okay,
it's not.
yeah.
It's not made specifically like that. There's
That's funny.
one thing I love about a triangle top
Yeah.
is that I've learned how to wear it 5 different ways. It's crazy. There's the standard triangle, and then you could do it upside down and have it kind of like a curve around your chest. You could also twist the straps in the front and make it more trendy looking.
Right.
You could also make it into a strapless too. Yeah, you could do a
That's
strapless
funny.
design with The triangle. It's
My thing
so
is
cool.
like, who was drunk that one time who put their bathing suit top on backwards? It's
Bitch,
like,
you know
yeah, right.
No,
Rock that
it's
shit.
the craziest thing, but that's why I kind of came out with triangle tops first, because it's so versatile that way. And then with the reversible aspect of it, you could wear it so many different ways.
It's kind of an off the cuff question, but not. I was thinking about. I knew you had a bathing suit line when I was doing like my little research on our guest today, and when did like I'll just say it in a professional way, like the less tan line bikini bottom look become a thing? Because I remember going to the beach as a kid, right? Mm-hmm. And for the better word, like granny panties was like all the bathing suit bottoms, growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember like as a 7-year-old kid, there would be a lady walk by in a thong, like, oh my God, holy fuck,
Right.
Nah, that's everything.
I feel like that's the standard practice now. My thing is like, when did that happen? And like, listen, to all the gentlemen out there, all single gentlemen, good for you. Like it's very like, it's flattering, but it shows confidence, it shows so many things. But when did that become a thing?
I feel like clothing progressively over the last few years has just like slowly gotten that way.
I feel like it's just gotten slightly more normal. I think also with the way that social media has become a bit more popularized, because there's like all those Instagram models now that show off their bodies and everyone's like, oh, I want to look like her. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's been very progressive. I want to say since my last year of high school, girls started wearing skimpier bottoms and start of college for sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I mean, I'd say maybe like since 2016, it's just been a slow progression, but now it's like mainstream, especially with TikTok and everything. Exactly. So like really blowing everything up.
Yeah. Because I don't honestly remember the last time I saw like granny panty bathing suit bottoms, Yeah. Alongside the social media thing, I really want to dive. So we've had more male guests than female, but I'd love to talk about the female perspective on like social media and the pressures and the insecurities that come along with that.
For sure.
What is your perspective on social media? I mean, you have a decent following. Some random person might call you like an influencer or the Instagram model girl. Yeah. You're so much more than that. But what pressures from society come along with that?
So what comes along with it is like Instagram is not as easy as it was before. I really do miss the old Instagram. I've had it since I want to say 2013. Yeah. So it's progressively, I have never had like exponential growth within a short period of time. It's just very progressively built to where it's at today. Yeah. But I want to say it's not as easy to reach people anymore. They say it is, and they say they add tools, but it really doesn't seem that way. And especially with like everyone knows now that Instagram, apparently with every post that you put out, it only shows it to like 3% of your followers first. That was a tongue twister.
Really?
And then it depends on how that 3% reacts, whether you reach more and more and et cetera like that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with like the whole save button now, that's like the new like. And, actually hitting the like button, it helps, but doesn't according to the algorithm. Really? And then, of course, like sharing is super important because it just helps you reach people that aren't even following you. Right. But it's just, I mean, that's all based on he said, she said, like I've seen it in articles, but I just don't know whether to believe it. Yeah. It seems to be true because I definitely feel like my engagement has dropped quite a bit in the last few years since they've been making these changes versus what I remember before. Yeah.
How did it work before? Like, what was the way the old Instagram was?
I feel like I just got
order, and I think you got
the chronological order. Like everything was like everything that you see on your timeline and your feed, you would see it like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, etc. Like very chronological, very in order, and you would be able to see and reach every single account that you were following. But now, like, I follow, I don't know, like 800 accounts. A lot of them are like shopping that I like. Some of them are Instagram models that I get inspiration from, friends. And I only see the accounts I interact, I guess, the most with, you know? Right. And that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you feel pressure to uphold this image of always being happy, always being on a beach, on a boat, like that type of pressure? Do you feel that?
Yes, absolutely. I think everyone does. Instagram, everyone knows is fake. It's not like real life. It's always just our best version of ourselves. But I absolutely do feel the pressure sometimes because I balance a lot in my life, I feel like. And Emotionally, it's good to, to let yourself have a breather and step back. But I also try to be honest about it, especially not necessarily on my page, but if, my followers that view my stories, they know the kind of stuff that I deal with, because I try to be open about it on my stories. Like I try to talk about like having a rough time with school or having to do this and that, whatever. And sometimes I go into detail, sometimes I'm vague, but I like to at least let them know. I'm like, this is real,
Yeah, right.
I like my stories, I kind of treat like a BTS, behind the scenes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you deal with any anxieties or anything like that?
Not necessarily. I've never been an anxious person.
Yeah.
I'm very chill. I'm very just go with the flow. Yeah. I'm generally confident. I'm a very talkative person, as you can tell. I never really been anxious, but sometimes I do get that little anxious feeling. When I get more stressed than anxious, I'd say. Yeah.
What do you do to relieve that stress?
I pretty much I love to just hang out with my dog.
Yeah.
My dog's name is Bella. She's a small Shih Tzu. She's super cool, coolest little dog. And she's just like your buddy to just take a nap with you. You know what I mean? So it's nice to just relax with her and watch like my favorite Netflix show or just some TV and just decompress.
What's your favorite Netflix show right now?
That's a good question.
Oh my gosh, there's so many shows. It's really hard for me to pick a favorite. I hate picking favorites of anything, really, but...
Well, give us a bunch then, because I need
I'm currently watching... Well, I love, let's say, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, Vampire Diaries and all of their...
I was going to say something like that.
All of their sequels. Like, I'm not going to lie. That show, I've watched it so many times, and I could just watch it again.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah. But, there's also, like... what else? I find that sex education show kind of funny. Have you watched it?
No.
It's like a British show, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's about like a bunch of high schoolers, just like learning how to cope with their hormones. and like the main character's mom is like an actual sex therapist. And
have you guys ever seen that show Big Mouth?
Yeah, no, I love Big Mouth.
Is it
I
the
watched
cartoon
that too.
that's
That shit is gnarly.
Yeah.
I didn't know like the extent that it
one.
went to, but I was tattooing someone the other day and they put Big Mouth on the TV while I was tattooing him. That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what they were saying.
I feel like you could be dirtier if it's cartoons.
I think that's 100% true.
The concept.
Yeah. That shit's wild.
You ever fuck with One Tree Hill growing up? You ever watch that show?
No, what's that?
It's like a Dawson's Creek, but like more drama.
I don't know what Dawson's Creek is.
It's like a chick show I used to watch with my sisters. Don't ask about it. Anyways, last thing on the Netflix. You guys watch Squid Games?
Yeah, totally.
I actually started maybe a couple episodes. I want to say a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Couple. Before I was out of town because I just got back today. But I haven't finished it yet, so don't spoil it for me. It's worth it.
Yeah.
The one thing that's held me back a little bit from finishing it is that I see TikToks of people that are actually Vietnamese. It is, and they say that they got the whole script wrong if you listen to it in English.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're translating it.
Right. So have you been watching it in English? Mm-hmm. I think that's true. You need to watch it in...
See, you fuck with subtitles like that. I don't
No,
read.
I don't fuck with subtitles like that, but I picked up...
Yeah, you do.
I do.
I usually hate watching things where they're not speaking English or I have to read the whole time because like I'm not paying attention close enough.
Yeah,
but I
you
could
can't
tell
watch
when I was
everything.
watching Squid Games that like the translation was weird. Like the things they were saying just didn't really make a lot of sense, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, like,
but she convinced me to watch it again, like in the authentic language.
I'd hate to watch it and then not get the full grasp of what they're saying, but you know what, it is what it is.
I think you got to watch it in the real language and read the subtitles for
All
sure.
right, I'll try that.
You spoke about you have a decent amount of confidence in yourself. What are things to do to build that confidence? Does that come naturally? What are things you practice in your everyday life to kind of build that?
I want to say, so there was a time I could say that I was a bit insecure, but it was more like, I don't know, growing up, I always, was pressured to, look my best, be the pretty girl. Just kind of like, I was always pressured to just have some sort of image. And
where'd that pressure come from?
I guess, like, I could say my family, like, my mom is amazing. She's, like, a superstar, and she's very pretty herself. And she just kind of, she raised my sister and I to care about our looks and to, hold our standards high and be confident and independent. I definitely picked up on quite a lot of it from her. I think I take a lot from her as well. So I get my confidence a bit naturally from her. But I want to say during high school is when I felt just a little insecure because, you know, I was very different in high school too. I went to Catholic school for 10 years, or 9 technically, kindergarten to 8th grade. And then I was like, I hate private school. I don't want to be with these people anymore. I've grown up with them. I don't like them anymore. And I'm like, I want to meet new people. So I went to Southwark High School, and it was just like a world was opened. And I was brand new. I only knew one person in the whole school. Yeah. And it was like, Southwark's a very country high school, and it's also like full of people that are not from Jupiter. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of people in Stewart, Palm City, and wherever else. And I want to say it is a different way of life, you know, from one town to another. And it's weird because we're so close, but I noticed that. So I was kind of like a green thumb. I walked into freshman year of high school wearing like whatever I wanted, you know, no uniform. I went all out. I was like, I walked into high school one time with neon pink pants, like a bright blue, like cut off sleeve shirt with a tank top underneath, you know, and I had like my bright back. I looked like a walking highlighter. It was crazy, but I just loved, you know, just expressing myself and being colorful and just like doing whatever I wanted, because I didn't get that before, you know, but, I did feel a bit insecure in like mid-high school, I think, when I was like just kind of getting settled in, I'd say. And I did, you know, stand out. However, I made friends. It was just like, you know, you always seem to compare yourselves to other people when you don't quite know them well enough. Yeah. So, you know, with like all the popular girls that were there at the time, like I was
judging the shit out of them.
Yeah, well, not necessarily. Not really judging. I was just more like, you know, like how are they popular? Like I kind of want to be like that or whatever. But I got past it. You know, I made friends along the way. I stuck to the same people that were good to me from the start, as far as I, you know, could. And then I just, you know, got into like one of my first, I guess, serious relationships. And of course it was, your first serious relationship is never really a good one, you know, like it's a little toxic. So there was some insecurities there that I had to work through, but it's just a matter of reminding yourself that you deserve more and that you matter, you know, like, and I always tell people, if you want to work on your confidence, you have to, whether you like it or not. You got to look yourself in the mirror and give yourself at least a compliment a day. Like, you know, like look at like something about you have to like, you know, and it really helps boost your confidence that way when you start small and you work your way up. Yeah.
And I think also eliminating like the negative self-dialogue that we tend to all have with ourselves throughout the day, you know, like even if you have a hard time looking in the mirror and complimenting yourself, which you really shouldn't, you know, you should be able to find one thing that you can identify with yourself that you love. But I also find myself or I think a lot of us, like riding around in the car every day, like having fake arguments in my head, you know, that haven't even really happened yet, you know, but I'm like having this toxic argument in my head, preparing for it, and it's probably never going to come, you know, and all of a sudden my mood's fucked up for no reason. So I think that's a big one too, you know, it's like kind of catching yourself when your mind's slipping down that negative slope and sort of putting a stop to it, because there's no reason for it.
Absolutely.
And it happens in the same way too, like that euphoria of being happy and just like being in such a good spot. Like in the car, for instance, a perfect song comes on, it's a beautiful day out, you roll the window down and you're just like, just having the best, like the ball rolls in both directions. So try to get like you said, a one compliment, one little step towards being good, and it will kind of open up your mind to see what other good things can come your way.
Identifying those good things.
Exactly.
Right.
And also too, like when you kind of give yourself that positive energy, you also like, you know, put it out to like, what's the best word to use? When you give yourself that positive energy, you also kind of like it's passed along to every person you interact with, you know, and they kind of pick up on it.
It's contagious.
And then they start to compliment you. You know what I mean? Like when you start to get that little boost of confidence where you're feeling good about yourself, someone will notice and they will, you know, comment on it, and you'll feel even better. And then, you know, it just kind of works its way up to where you feel like you are good where you are, you know?
And I think the more you can get in that headspace and like kind of be in a good place mentally, you'll find yourself around more people that are like-minded like that, you know? And it works the opposite way too. When you're like stuck in a dark place and you're kind of in a shitty place mentally, the people that will gravitate towards you are the ones that kind of feed off of that and, you know, encourage the same behavior.
Miserable, yeah.
But people that are, you know, living their best life and being positive and have a good mentality aren't going to want to be around that toxic person, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's again, it's so important to find that one thing to kind of push that ball and roll it in the right direction. One thing I so believe in, and it's talked about more these days, but like energy, I believe is so transferable. You know, I have friends, I used to live with roommates, guys, and even Paige, sometimes she comes home and like, if I see someone in a really bad mood, you just try to be like annoyingly happy and like hug them. And that energy is transferred, you know? And that's why a lot of people love dogs, because no matter what happened in your day, you walk in the door, the dog runs to you, and you know, you just feel loved and happy. And again, that energy is transferred. You know,
100%. It may be a little annoying sometimes that I do this to JoJo, but like sometimes I'll like pick her up from work or something, or we'll be talking about like her shift or something, and like, you know, I know she doesn't have an easy job, but sometimes she'll have a lot of negative things to talk about. You know, she gets in the car and the whole way home we're talking about something, how shitty her shift was. You know, and then once she's all done, she'll be like, okay. That was it, you know. All right, now tell me 3 things you're grateful for, you know. And then just to flip the switch, you know, and get it in the opposite. And I know it might be like annoying sometimes because let me just vent about my shitty day. And I let her, you know, and I'm there for her for those ventings, you know. I understand that you got to get that shit out sometimes too.
It is very healthy to vent.
But it's important, I think, to be able to snap out of it too. Once you get it out and you feel okay about it, you know, then switch gears, you know. And we even talked about it the day when we did like a boys only episode. And you're like, man, to be honest, I've been having a shitty Monday. You know, I'm kind of excited to get on here and just talk about it. Yeah. But then by the end of that episode, you're like, no, I feel much better now that I talked about it. You know? And I think that's important. It's okay to vent. It's okay to, you know, talk to your close friends when you're feeling not your best, but also be able to, you know, identify when it's time to switch gears and kind of kick it up.
Because also saying stuff out loud, you realize it's not as bad as it seems, you know, like, or a lot of times these scary stories or these, you know, things that roll in our head, we say it out loud and we're like, dude, that's what I'm pissed about right now. Like,
because sometimes it only exists in your head. Sometimes.
Like a random Karen beeped at me, like I don't give a shit, you know, like little stuff like that where you say it out loud, and like, dude, I have a fucking roof over my head, I got water, I got food, like I live in the best country in the world, like what am I bitching about, you know?
Do you ever suffer from road rage, Natalie?
No, not usually.
When's the last time you flicked somebody off?
Oh, definitely not. I don't do that. I don't do that. I just kind of like, whenever I do suffer from road rage, it's always when I'm late. I hate being late to anything.
And it's not actually that person's fault.
Being late makes me anxious, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, because I like, you know.
Well, you were like 15 minutes early today, so.
Yeah.
It's my number one impression. I'm telling you, it's like not pet peeve. Like, I'm not going to dislike you if you show up late.
Sure.
But if you show up early, it's a huge character thing to me. He
did say that as you pulled up. I was like, oh, I think she's here. And he goes, 15 minutes early? I fucking love that.
Yeah. It's huge to me because, like, subconsciously, it's kind of like I respect, like, because say we said 5:30. It's a respect thing. Like, it's like you said 5:30.
Respecting each other's time.
If you can't make 5:30, you tell us 6 or whenever you can, and then be there by that time, you know? So I think it's huge. Okay, so you are in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
His name's Adam.
Shout out Adam.
Is he your age?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the future like with Adam?
I don't know. We're in it for the long run. That's for sure. We've established that. We've, I don't know, talked about like getting married like for fun, you know, just like I don't know if it's serious or whatever with all that, because we're still like, you know, figuring out our lives.
Yeah, sure.
He's a pilot.
Okay.
He loves flying. He is currently instructing at the Stewart Airport.
Okay.
Cool.
And he just really wants to get himself, you know, like he wants to get himself to his end game. Yeah. Him and I share very similar qualities where we're very driven. We have a lot going on for ourselves. Like we love, you know, we have very strong passions for different things, but it works because it makes us independent. And we're not very dependent on each other. We communicate as much as we can and we see each other as much as we can, but it's not as often as most couples do. Yeah. So when we do get that quality time, it really does mean a lot. But right now he's really focused on getting his hours in and hopefully working for an airline in the next 10 months. And then, you know, we'll kind of go from there. But he's also still living at home. You know, his parents gave him the same privilege to stay home, save money, do what he's got to do before, you know, being ready to, you know, do the next step.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out Adam.
Yeah, for real.
Shout out.
So, because I always think that's a very interesting conversation with, you know, going in, because Paige and I got engaged 6 months ago. And
Oh, congrats.
thank you. 24, 25, 26, 27, that age range of like, you've been in a long committed relationship. You both say like, it's the one, you know? And like Pete and I have talked about on a podcast before, it's like, when does that conversation of like, oh, it'll happen one day become like, okay, like tomorrow
It's
sounds
time,
good.
Yeah, right. You never know.
And I know it's different for every relationship and every couple. I just always think it's the thought process behind it is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's because some people are super chill about it. For you, it sounds like it's like when that road comes, we'll cross that road and we'll get there.
Yes, absolutely.
And it sounds like you're in a supportive relationship where you guys both have goals and you want to achieve those and you support each other in that and you don't step over those boundaries of this is my life and that's yours.
Definitely. Like one thing I really appreciate about him is that with my Instagram.
Yeah.
So I had a
was gonna
boyfriend
ask that.
before him that was extremely insecure about my Instagram and it really pissed me off.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I'm going to do what I want to do. Like you can't tell me what to post, what to wear, whatever. I was super rebellious and that was the toxic one.
Yeah.
But with Adam, he's just like, I've known you forever, and we have that foundation where we were best friends and just friends for a long time. And I think that foundation is extremely important in relationships where you get each other on a friend's level before getting all the drama of being in a relationship involved.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they jump into relationships and then when they don't agree with one little thing, they blow it out of proportion. You know, when Adam doesn't agree with something that I want to do, he'll talk about it with me and he'll, you know, show me his perspective. And because we were friends before, I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah.
You know, like we have that background where I get him on a deeper level
Right.
and he does me. But we really don't have issues. I mean, I don't think I could recall ever having a fight with him.
Wow.
Like we just get along.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Sound the same way. I mean, you and JoJo sound the same way too. We talk about things. There's no point in arguing. Like, what does it do? Just blow shit out of proportion?
It's not
You
necessary.
know, and typically, actually, almost 100% of the time, it is simply perspective. It's you have to put yourself in the other person's shoes and see where they're coming from.
Yeah, you can't be stubborn. You have
can't.
to be open-minded.
Yeah. So what I was gonna ask about is like, I'm sure being a beautiful woman online, you get a lot of like crazy DMs and shit.
No, yeah.
How do you view
Ridiculous
that?
DMs.
Do you just let it sit there? Do you ever answer and be like, you're a misogynistic asshole? Like how does it work?
I think like a long time ago I would answer and I would either be like pissed off or I'd kind of make a joke out of it and whatever. But then it started getting a little annoying when they would just keep coming back and back. And I'm the kind of person that I hate the notification symbol.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
I want it clean.
Yeah.
So I ended up just not responding anymore. And if it is really, really rude and it really ticks me off, then I'll respond and then block.
Yeah.
You
You ever
know, plain and
screenshot
simple.
someone and put them on blast?
Oh yeah, I've done that. I've done that 100%.
I don't get how guys be doing this. Like, it literally in their bio, it's like like the person they married and shit like that.
Oh no.
No, and you see girls, they'll tag the fucking wife. I'm talking about men mostly here, but they'll tag the wife like in the post and be like, check your mans, and it's
Gnarly.
bad. Which like a part of me's like, yeah, that's pretty far, but a part of me's like, yo, he did it to himself.
Yeah,
Like,
he deserves it.
Yeah,
at that point.
what the fuck?
Yeah, hell yeah.
I think people, I call them keyboard warriors, but people online, they just fucking piss me off. And like, they'll say all these things that they would never say in person,
No,
ever.
absolutely
I mean,
not.
like, there was back to always our conversation, and it's nice having a female perspective on here now, is this girl got canceled on TikTok this weekend she was in a country bar in Texas or something, and this guy came up to her and approached her, say, I think you're very beautiful, and, you know, oh, I'm sorry, it was a gas station, not a bar. She was at a gas station pumping gas. Okay, big difference. Yeah. So, pumping gas, and the guy walked by her, blue-collar guy, and said, hey, I just want to say you're really beautiful. You know, can I get your number? Would you ever want to go out sometime?
There are two very big differences there.
Between the bar and the gas station, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
So she was at a gas station pumping gas,
Right.
and she put this dude on blast because she was just minding her own business, and the guy came up to me, and he hit on me, and this ain't no Christian Mingle gas station. That's what she said. And and my thing is like, listen, if homeboy wasn't creepy,
She
like,
got canceled though?
well, people are going out there because they're like, yo, to be honest, from a guy's perspective, it takes a lot of balls, unless you're like a creepy drunk. Like, it takes a lot of balls to walk up to a beautiful woman and be like, hey, I think you're interesting. You know, like, as a sober person, like, I think I want to get your number and take you out.
Yeah.
Now, that's why I love a woman's perspective. That's my guy's perspective. It's like, dude, shoot your shot, pull the trigger. If she says no or gives you any type of negative energy, leave. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Leave.
Yeah, a simple no
read
means a solid no. Language.
What?
Yeah.
Like if a girl's nicely saying no, it's a solid
It's
no.
a firm no.
Yeah.
You know?
She's just being nice.
Well, that's exactly it.
Look at people at the gas station like, hey, shawty.
Yeah, no.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing, too. I mean, I think a big difference is the delivery, but it sounds like in this scenario, you're saying he was respectful with the delivery.
Right.
But I'm going to get on the female side for a second and say, like, I just feel like that's sort of an inappropriate place to be approaching
But
someone
what's
else.
the line of the appropriate place, Pete?
You know,
Social settings?
yes, an area where the person is there with the knowledge that you're in a social setting where other people can approach you and want to communicate with you. I don't necessarily feel like that's what you're signing up for when you go to the gas station to get gas.
No, I get that. It's the gas station's a lot like the gym. I work out
Right,
5 days
right.
a week.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And I have been hit on at the gym too often. And it's like the gas station, you're there pumping gas and you got to go. Like
Right.
you're there only for a certain amount of time. You
I'm not here to mingle.
You can't waste time.
None of us are.
I mean, to be frankly honest, I'm always in a rush when I'm pumping gas.
Right.
Like I wouldn't like to be bothered. But also with the gym, I only have like a couple hours to be there. And I hate when someone like comes up and it's even if they're nice and they're just telling me like, hey, like, can I take you out sometime? I think you're attractive. I'm like, I'm really sorry, but you're getting me out of my zone right now. And I'm really serious about being here, you know?
Right.
It's just not, if anything, like the gym is more appropriate, I'd say, than the gas station, but you got to wait till like after, you know, she's done with her sets and she's just resting because to be honest, if you're like if she's in the middle of a set or whatever, and she doesn't seem like she's going to be like chilling for very long, leave her alone.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of gym bros and gym girls out there who have a gym crush. What would be your advice to a gym bro or gym girl who has a gym crush? Like, how would you go about that?
I'd say like the best way to approach is if you see them like, you know, walking in at the same time as you, you know, get them when they're checking in, same thing as going out. Also, like if they're waiting for water, why don't you go and get water and like kind of spark up a conversation like, hey, I like your shoes, you know? Because like a lot of people wear pretty cool shoes at the gym. I've complimented some shoes. But, you
Is
know,
that
just,
new
like,
Gymshark drop?
Yeah, you know, but like it's just simple stuff like that. It's just as long as you're aware that the person isn't busy and they're in their head, you know.
Right, respecting their time.
Exactly. Like I get real serious when I'm in the middle of my sets, and I just hate when I'm thrown off.
So this is one we've asked a guest before. Also, there was a similar scenario where like someone was getting put on blast on social media. It was like a locksmith or a plumber or some shit. And he went to go provide his services to this woman. And after the service was complete, you know, he sent her a message saying, hey, you know, everything's all set for you. Thank you so much for the, you know, the trust, blah, blah, blah. Have a great day. And then a few minutes later, texts her again. He goes, by the way, you know, I just thought you were really nice, really sweet. I don't remember verbatim what he said, but it was very like polite and respectful. And it didn't come off like creepy in my opinion. You know, he was very polite about it. It wasn't like over the top. And you know, he's like, if it wouldn't be too much, I'd love to take you out for a drink sometime or, you know, get coffee.
Okay.
And the girl screenshots it, puts it all over social media, and is like, why the fuck can't I just ask for a plumber to come over and not get hit on after the fact? And I understand that, you know, it's like, I think that's why we talked about it last time, because like, I don't really know what side is correct, you know, like there's, on one angle, like the guy was very respectful about the way he did it, and also didn't put her on the spot in person. You know, I think that would have been different too if he's like in her house and was like, "Hey, I think you're cute. Can I take you out?" Now she like has to awkwardly shut him down or figure out what to say. He texted her after the fact though, which I think is like very low pressure situation.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
But I also feel like it was a little. She's like kind of being a bully, you know, like putting this guy on blast and exposing him. I think it's something said like he might have lost his job, or someone might have just commented saying he could have lost his job because that's like, you know, unprofessional.
Well, with these girls too that are putting these guys on blast, as long as they're polite, it really is unnecessary. I think it's kind of like, they just want the attention, you know, they want, and I feel like putting them on blast is also like, it's like a boost of their ego.
Yeah.
It's trying to show people like, oh, I'm wanted,
right.
you know, but it's wrong. Like I'm very patient and I'm very calm whenever people do, you know, try to like flirt with me or try to, ask me out. But I wouldn't really think, personally, for me, I wouldn't put them on blast.
Unless it's
it was
like egregious.
Yeah, like unless it was extremely unnecessary or rude or, like creepy.
Yeah. So guys,
Understood.
don't go up to girls at gas stations. It's fucking.
Yeah, not the time, not the place.
So that's the answer out of that one. Fuck me, I thought I was way off on that. I was like, go, good for you, bro. But
Shoot your shot,
super
dog.
sketchy. You know the fucked up thing though, in reality.
Is that 87 or 89?
If the guy was a solid 10,
Yeah.
she's not putting that on TikTok. If the guy's a Brad Pitt looking like motherfucker who walks up to her and is like, hey, would you like to go on a date? She's not putting
Well,
that on social
that
media.
was another
So
point that
that's the
people were
reality.
making
Yeah.
on the plumber post. They were commenting saying, like, girls were saying, well, if he was cute, then I wouldn't care, but if he was ugly, then it's creepy. And it's like, that's so fucked
That's
up.
what I'm
And
saying.
so-
No.
And it is messed up, but that's pretty
It's
privileged
on, yeah.
nowadays. And
Right,
it's same
right.
for men and women. It really is.
I've
Yeah.
seen way too many rom-coms, bro. Like, if the guy is
Rom-coms.
good looking, it just like, works like that.
Dawson's Creek.
The last thing on this is I want to talk to you, bartender. Have you ever bartended or served or been in the hospitality industry?
So I actually work in liquor promos.
Okay.
I do like a lot of demo sampling.
Okay.
But I've been to charity events, golf course tournaments, boat shows.
What brands do you usually work with? Can you say?
So I started off working with Bacardi and their whole portfolio, and they own everything almost.
Right.
Do they? I didn't know
They
that.
really
everything.
own like everything, like whiskey, tequila, cognac.
Really? I didn't know
Grey
that.
It's
Goose
just
is
insane.
Bacardi.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So even Bacardi, I believe, even owns Patron now.
Patron, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that like insane.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I started working with them, and then also through these sample tastings, whatever I would be doing, I would also meet other women in the industry, and I would pretty much just link up with them, get their contacts, get their agency, and now I work for like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I do the same job for 10 companies.
No, that's
and
sweet.
I just kind of bounce in between all of them. It's a very flexible job. It's good pay. It's very fun, It's more laid back, I'd say, but there is a bit of stress because they do want you to push sales. It is
Yeah.
a sales position.
Sure.
But as long as you're talkative and you're not afraid to put yourself out there, it's a pretty easy job.
Yeah.
And there's no non-compete between those? Like,
No.
really?
Yeah, it's not exclusive. So you could,
You
with
probably
my
couldn't
position,
work the same event for two different companies
yeah,
at the
yeah,
same
not,
time.
like not at the same time.
Right,
yeah, you
right.
have to from. And they're also usually short events, like 3 hours, 4 hours. So like 12 to 3, I'll be with one agency, and I could be with a different one from 4 to 7.
And how do you book this? Do you have an agent, or like how does that
So
work?
they do everything through email. They'll send you like
Yeah.
a whole schedule for the month coming up, and you just sign up for whatever you like,
Really?
like whatever you're available for.
And you were a liquor rep, so obviously you know what you're talking about. But you're
We
talking
would
like
book these things
Okay.
to help with our sales,
Yeah.
but like,
I get a Kettle
boat
One.
shows. Like, give me examples. Like what? Like
So at 123 Deter, we get like 3 Kettle One cocktails on the menu. I'm
Yeah.
giving them a special bottle price because they did that.
Yeah.
And in order to like launch the cocktails and get them selling and
Yeah.
people know about them, we have the Kettle One girls come and they pass out little samples of the cocktails.
I know what
and,
you're talking about.
Oh,
I
this
get
is
it.
our
I get
new
it. Yeah, yeah.
sea spray, blah blah blah, and then now people know about it.
It's like an alcohol version of the Red Bull girls passing out the Red Bull.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Kettle
yeah.
One
Absolutely.
we pay the promo company, and Kettle One reimburses us for that. So,
Smart. So it's one whole circle.
it just helps with sales.
Huh. Well, learn something today. Well, a little bit on a lighter note, Natalie, what is your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Oh yeah, one Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday.
Wow,
that's a big
a bold
statement.
statement.
Yes, it's a bold statement. Like everyone's like, "Oh, Halloween, dress up,"
Halloween's
and I
cool.
love dressing up for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone says Halloween's their favorite holiday, I think they got to reconsider.
I feel like you're also a little bit of a sociopath. But
Right.
on top of that, no, I genuinely think that Thanksgiving's my favorite big holiday.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big foodie. I mean, for being a gym girl,
Yeah.
I am hungry all the time. You
Yeah.
know, like I eat a lot of food and I do track macros.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to being in a surplus on
Yeah.
that day. But anyways, I have to say my favorite, that's a tough one. Well, first thing that comes to mind is casserole. I'm a sucker for
Really?
So there's like
casserole.
so many casseroles. Though. Like what type of casserole?
Any of them. I
Really?
mean, like a full on like veggie casserole.
Yeah.
I like the green beans. I like the sweet potato.
Yeah,
I like
okay.
oh my god, anything casserole really.
I
Cheese.
fuck with that too.
What's the go-to pie?
Pie. Ooh.
Pumpkin.
Yeah, that would be my answer
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Pumpkin's fabulous. I love the pecan. I love
Yeah, that's a
I
good
love
one,
apple
too.
It's a sleeper.
pie.
Yep.
Let me ask you something, Nick. Speaking
And
of pecan
s'mores,
pie,
I'm a sucker for s'mores.
Okay.
I've never had a
S'mores
s'mores pie, or you're
Yeah.
just saying s'mores in
Like a
general?
s'mores pie.
Yeah.
But
I
also
need to
regular
try
s'mores.
one of those.
I actually...
I went and got dinner last night with Papo Taco at Twin Peaks.
Paco Tacos.
Um,
Twin Peaks? That was the
It's right next to my crib.
My
so
friend
okay.
works there.
That's our go-to place. It's right next to
real
the crib.
close, okay.
Shut up.
Shout out Pauline.
Yeah, shout out Pauline. But let me ask you something, bro. You're sitting at the bar with your homie.
Yep.
You had some food, you had a few drinks, you're craving something sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel sus ordering a dessert? Is there any shame in that?
What do you mean sus?
So
Is it sus if like you and your homie like split a sundae?
Nah.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, I
So
don't know.
my
Because
thing was,
the reason I brought it up is
I
because they had a
wouldn't judge.
pecan pie on the menu and I wanted it. But I was also like,
But here's
I
the
just
sus
couldn't-
thing.
I
Here's the
didn't
sus
wanna
thing.
order it.
So you and Papo Taco take out the dessert menu. You're like, what are you feeling tonight? Like,
well, it was just,
pecan
it's
pie?
all
Like,
one menu. The desserts are on the main menu.
So you should.
I peeped it right away.
So you took a spoon, he took a spoon, and you're spooning
No,
it?
I didn't order it because
Okay.
I was self-conscious about it.
Nick, would you eat like a dessert if you went out with people?
Absolutely.
That was my question, right? If it was me and you, but yeah, I already knew.
But our
As I started to
relationship
ask
is
him,
super
I
sus.
knew you. Yeah, this kid texted me 3 times today, being like, "Sorry, that was sus."
But does that also play into the fact that it's Twin Peaks? Like you're surrounded by a lot of beautiful women?
Yeah.
I don't think I really gave a fuck about that.
There's a lot of
Okay.
testosterone in Twin Peaks,
Yeah.
man.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I texted Pete today. Pete's not been sleeping well lately, so I
Ever.
texted
for the last 8 years.
I screenshot it. I texted him, "Come over to my house sometime. Let me teach you how to sleep."
You know,
and then I
he
wrote-
says, "You come over and sleep with me. I'll show you how it's done." Wait a second, dude.
So sometimes I read my shit back, and I was like, "Wow, that did not sound right."
So wait for our next merch drop. Lil Sus
Lil
is going to
Sus.
be our next T-shirt.
I love that.
Yeah, Lil Sus.
I think Thanksgiving is also the best holiday because it's kind of like a pregame for the holiday season, or it is like the kickoff for the holiday season.
Like, do you
know?
go out the Wednesday before?
That's the
Yeah,
busiest
yeah.
night of the year.
Yeah.
That is no one. They just kind of talked about,
It's
but that
busy.
hospitality is the busiest night of the year.
Busiest
Right.
night of the year.
That's just because Thanksgiving food's the best hangover.
Yeah,
food. It
true.
is the best.
Yeah.
I did sleep like 2 or 3 Thanksgivings in college, like through the meal, because I was that hungover. from
Really?
Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was
Oh
bad.
my
Oh,
God.
jeez.
That's rough.
Dude, because Guanabanas would do like $3 beer. It was back and forth on the beach bars. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie. Oh yikes! I do really like Home Alone.
Okay.
That's a really
Yeah.
good movie.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a classic.
Any of them.
I really do wish we were raised with snow though on the holidays. Kind of wish.
A little
Yes
bit.
and no.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yes
gonna
and
lie.
no.
I was just at EDC in Orlando this weekend, and it was freaking cold.
Was it?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was like down to the 50s.
No shit.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 of the nights. And
People up north are laughing
I
at us
am
right now.
not a cold weather
Yeah,
bird.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I get so bitchy when I'm cold, and
Yeah.
I'm just like complaining nonstop until I warm up.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
snow's beautiful to look at, and half of my family are farmers in Illinois.
Okay.
So I've seen the snow,
Yeah.
and it's beautiful in photos. But when you're in it, you feel like you're in literal hell. I don't
Yeah.
think hell's made of fire. I think it's like
Snow.
a dark
Yeah.
blizzard snowstorm in
That's
there.
so true.
That's so
100%. Because I'd rather die hot than die cold.
Well, that's what I would say is like sometimes in the middle of summer I'll be dressed up nice, and by the walk from my front door to my car I'm in a full sweat. And I
Yeah,
get,
dude.
I get agitated, but then those 4 days of winter come by in Florida. I'm like, fuck this, dude. You know, like I gotta wait till my heat turns on in my car, and like, you know, when we visited Paige's
Yeah.
family up north, they're scraping ice off of windows and shit,
Yeah.
shoveling snow to go to work.
To the opposite extreme, when I was wearing a suit and tie for work every day,
Oh my gosh.
for years,
Yeah.
I would go outside, start my car, turn the AC on, and then go back inside for a few minutes before I left,
True.
so that my car would already be pre-cooled by the time I got in it, because it would be so fucking hot
Yep.
inside the car, and I'm wearing a full suit, tie,
Yeah,
jacket,
yeah,
and
yeah.
everything. When you get in there and it's like boiling, before I even get out of my neighborhood, I've like sweat through everything
Yeah.
I'm wearing. So I had to like go pre-cool the car before I'd get in.
It is a hack. It's a Florida hack. So you've talked about like a lot of your work endeavors, obviously your personal ones as well. We talk about this a lot on here, like a work-life balance, and what does that mean to you? You know, what percent do you think you're nose to the grindstone, and what percent do you think like I'm gonna go to EDC this weekend and party?
So with my balance, I feel like I'm just up and down recently, you know? But I'd have to say in the last few months, I really focused on the grind. I didn't really go out much. I just haven't really felt like going out and drinking. I really wanted to focus on, my nutrition and my fitness and, getting the ball rolling with my business and also with school. This is my first semester being full-time online, and I'm not going to lie, it's a bit much for also balancing everything else. And so, right now, like I've recently been taking it low up until the last couple of weeks. Then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to travel a bunch, go all out, like enjoy myself for a little bit, and then I'll reset. So now I'm resetting. I'm getting back into it. Hopefully tomorrow or the next day.
So for you, it is grind, and then take a period of just relax.
Yeah.
I think we talk about all the time that burnout's real. And if you get to that point where you burn out, there's really no coming back. It's tough. If you want to, like, you have a friend or someone who, went to elementary school with you and haven't talked to them in a while, if you want to give them like any, words of advice or anything like that you've learned in life through your trials and tribulations, what would you tell them?
A word of advice for someone that I've known for a while?
Just anyone listening.
Even if you don't.
Just for anyone listening. I'd say put yourself first. That is my absolute, I truly strongly believe you got to put yourself first, what you want to do. Do not serve to the likeness of others and what other people want, to do. If you don't agree, then don't be afraid to say, I'm not into this. I'm going to just do me and you do you, Don't be afraid to separate yourself, because when you do that, you really find what you're passionate about, what you actually like, what relaxes you, what makes you happy. And you gotta, I always just say, like, if you want to be an independent person and you want to rely on yourself and be happy, on your own, it's so important to be happy when you're alone. Absolutely. You just gotta, you can't be a people pleaser. Absolutely not. Yeah.
You gotta learn how to say no. You gotta take care of yourself first. We talk about it all the time. It's like,
that was really well said.
Yeah, very well said. And you will not bring anything to the world if you're not happy and comfortable with your own self and your own thoughts.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a good, daughter, brother, sister, friend, anything. Yeah. Because you're not content and happy with yourself. You don't respect yourself. So who are you to respect anyone else? It really all starts with you. And people think that's selfish, but in my head, it's like, it's not selfish, it's selfless, because you are a better person to others.
Yeah.
Right. For some reason, our society, it's like, if you take me time or you take a step back and focus on yourself, it's selfish. Fuck that. It's not selfish, because you bring such a better perspective and peace to this, life. Yeah.
It is your life.
Exactly.
You can't be living a life
for anyone else,
like with decisions made by others. Correct. You got to do it for yourself, because you only get one.
Yeah. In reality, like, even like with your partner or your relationship, like, the best times that me and Paige have ever had is when I've been personally the happiest, and then that happiness reflects on her and just creates a whole big bundle of just love, so don't be afraid to focus on yourself, take some you time, and just take a step back and get that perspective.
Get your mind right.
Natalie, I think your story is amazing. I think you have big things coming for you. Pete, you got anything?
No, that was great.
I think you're an amazing person, woman, and you got big things coming. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Where can they find you on socials?
So you can find me on Instagram, Nat Got Back. I'm also on TikTok, Nat Got Back. However, I'm more prominent on Instagram. I'm still learning how to do the whole TikTok thing.
Yeah, me too.
Like with TikTok, I'm not gonna lie. I give a lot of credit to these famous TikTokers. It is a lot of time. It is a lot of effort. Videos are much more than pictures. That's for sure. It's insane. But I am trying to figure it out as I go. You know what I mean? But you can find me on Nat Got Back on both those platforms. I do have a YouTube channel. It's under Natalie Jarmay, and it's mostly like little travel vlogs I just thought I could do for fun. When I was traveling with friends, I'm like, I'm gonna vlog. Like, why not? This will be a good memory.
Exactly.
Some of them are pretty stupid, but I want to get more into that too when I get more time. Right now I'm taking a little break. But also with my swimwear line, it is shop.golden, and it is GOALDEN.
Cool.
Golden.
We'll put links for everything down in the description.
Absolutely.
Support local guys. If you're looking for a swimsuit for your girlfriend, if you're a guy watching, or your girl wanting to support local, I wish we could buy one, but we can't. But maybe I'll buy one for Paige. Exactly. Hey, she's pointing. I think that's amazing. And I think what you're going to do is amazing.
Cool,
and
thank
I
you.
just appreciate you. Guys, that is Millennial Mentality for this week. Thank you for watching, listening, viewing, and subscribing. We will catch you guys next week. Peace. That was awesome.
Good shit. That was
Really
great.
good.
Good job.
That's the energy though, right there though. Yeah. Cry with me. Yeah. Pour juice inside the soda, turn it over, watch it sing. Yeah. Sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit Cuban like my links. But I really like that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Rather flip a boat, but nigga, I still serve a zip. I remember being broken, I was down bad on my dick. And she used to call me ugly, now lil' shawty let me hit. Wait, well maybe it's just Bully, got a nigga confident. Remember all them dreams that I had when I was legit. They're like, yeah, I love the streets, but I'm still gon' go legit. Cause you know I need that German with that brand new fucking tip. Fell in love with them foreigns, watching a nigga Euro step. Got me feeling like I'm hardened, cause I'm plugged in with the ref. Like if you touch me wrong, you might get hit with this tech. Let them birds fly like a nigga crossing west. And I swear they broke my heart when I seen them. But that shit, it made me strong, now I'm right back on my best. Like bitches, leave me alone, why I get linked on this tech. Like little bitches, leave me alone, unless you gonna try that neck. Like little bitches, leave me alone, unless you talking about a check. Pour juice inside the soda, turn it over, watch it sing. Yeah, sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit Cuban like my links. But I really love that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Pour juice inside the soda, turn it over, watch it sing. Yeah, sometimes it might be purple, sometimes it might be that pink. Probably roll that purple diesel, that shit Cuban like my links. But I really love that Cali, cause that shit don't make me trip. Yeah.